welcome to GLHF, the world's first podcast in video games. Today, stranded, unfortunately, in the middle of the ocean. Again, I guess I just realized we already did this in the game Raft.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, we did do that. I forgot about that. Well, that wasn't stranded. That was recreational. Well, not recreational, but it was like
voluntary.
Active. It was voluntary, and we were actually, if I remember correctly, you kidnapped me and brought me out there. If I remember how you started that episode, if we're keeping the lore intact.
Sounds like something I would do.
Whereas this one, we can tell by this giant barrel full of bottles of blue and red liquid that obviously this is. We both decided to come here so we could drink this thing on this raft.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got it pretty decked out. It's a pretty nice raft, all things considered.
Yeah, it's I don't know how many bottles are in that barrel because of the way my camera's angled, but at least 4. So we should survive for possibly 4 or 5 days without issue, depending on where we're stranded. If the water's fresh water, maybe longer.
No. We're clearly in the middle of the ocean. Hopeless. It's hopeless for us.
It feels that way. Yeah. Big ominous black. The sky is closing into darkness, and I actually really like the skybox. Come to think of it, really kind of blurry cloud static. Big fan. Have you ever been on an island? You ever been on a desert island, a stranded or otherwise?
You know what? No. But that's part of what I wanted to talk about today. But did you want to...
never been to Hawaii? I feel like you. Well, I guess Japan is like an island-ish,
well, okay,
but you know what I mean, like an island where you can. Or I meant desert.
I've been to Hawaii.
Well, I don't know what I meant, but okay, Hawaii would qualify. But like, have you ever been on an island where it's so small that you can see the curvature of it while you're on it?
What do you mean by curvature? The coast?
Because like when you're on Hawaii, like. You might as well just be in LA, or not LA, whatever it is, like the beach in California.
Sure.
Like it's so big, it's not like you can tell you're stranded
mean,
in the middle of a thing.
Small enough that you can see the whole thing, kind of.
Yeah. If we wanted to do math, we could figure out what size I'm inferring here, but not even necessarily the whole thing, but like, just like obviously an island, and you're obviously in the middle of the ocean with like nothing else. Like going to,
I haven't had the opportunity.
Easter Island or whatever. Okay. I would like to, but I never have. Some people have on purpose.
Have you been to Hawaii?
And some people. No, I've never really gone anywhere like...
I know. You got to start going places.
I will. Like I said, the only reason I'm doing this YouTube thing is so I can get enough money that I can afford one of those beds when I fly across the world.
Right.
So as soon as I get to the bed level, I'm quitting.
Okay, well...
I don't know where I would go, but...
Did you want to... You said we had to start recording because we were saying something about spiders. Did you want to finish that thought?
I don't know if that was even as interesting as I was excited in the moment, but you had brought up like why did we like, because it's like culturally we decided that spiders make a certain noise.
Yes.
And I don't really know what noise that is, but I kind of know what you're talking about.
There's
and it made me think.
Because I noticed
Go ahead.
Last episode, there were spiders involved because it was a spider related game. And, what am I saying? The spiders are making like tiny little noises if you listen to the game audio. And it's like the noises that spiders always make, like in movies and stuff. And I'm like, where does that even come from? It's just like little... I can't replicate it because I think it's going to be gross if I try to replicate it, because it honestly sounds kind of like spit noises, but also like high pitch. Like, you
just
know what
like
I mean?
The creepy crawly, like flittering like pitter patter.
But like higher pitch.
Oh, that's not what I... Okay. Is that the noise? I always thought of it more as like again, these aren't really noises you can make with a human mouth. But anyway, the point is we know what we're talking about. It's like we just decided they make this noise. And it reminds me of like, I think we also just decided, unless I'm out of the loop here, that like mice like cheese. Or like, there's like lots of things that we just
Yeah, I mean, mice
decided.
Just like any food, I think. So I'm sure it includes like cheese.
Does a mouse like cheese more than other food? I'm not really sure. I guess my dog likes cheese more than other food, so maybe cheese is just like the go-to.
I feel
anyway,
like
I
cheese
said,
is just a convenient thing to put on a mouse trap, you know? Like maybe it just came from that.
What do you mean convenient?
Because like it's Well, it depends on the kind of cheese, but it's like a relatively self-contained, like it's not going to stink up the room. It's going to last like long enough without like getting disgusting. If you just put a piece of cheese on the ground, do you know what I mean?
What about like a piece of bread?
I didn't really think this through that hard.
Okay, it was convenient. I mean, maybe convenient in the sense that like maybe lots of people had cheese.
Yeah.
But I think probably mice like it because it's like high calorie and it's like dense and fatty. Right. Like that's why we like cheese. That's why we put cheese on burgers and stuff, and cheese on our egg and cheese sandwiches and so on and so forth. Anyway, as I predicted, this was not actually as interesting of a conversation as I thought it would be. So we can go back to
that's okay.
talking about how we've never gone to an island if you want to.
I do have a little like historical story rabbit hole that I went down that I would like to tell you about regarding
oh my goodness
being stranded on an island.
I would love to hear this. Is this a true story, or are you gonna like weave a tall tale?
Okay, I'll just get into it. It's a true story because true stories are always more interesting. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you a legend.
Exactly. I don't need no legends. I need some truth.
Was Castaway based on a true story?
No shot. No guy. No, wait. Think first. Didn't he crash a fully loaded airliner and that he was flying across the ocean and somehow survived? That's like lost stuff.
Okay,
Has
maybe
anyone
not.
ever survived an airliner crash in the ocean? I mean, some people have actually.
Okay, this Castaway is probably
not that much. Anyway.
I don't think it's based on a true story, but this is a true story because I was looking up. I feel like we've talked about this before. It's like, well, you've been interested in rescue stories. You were like, when was the last time someone was rescued?
I said that? What was that in reference to?
I mean, we say many things on this show.
Was it me talking about like the Chilean miner?
Yeah.
Or like the I suppose the
things like that.
The scuba diving, Elon Musk whatever that. What was that thing with the kids in the cave? That I guess would qualify.
Yeah, there was like some Boy Scouts
you've got a good one
in a cave or whatever. This is the story of a ship that crashed called the Strathmore in 1875. Whoa,
this is gonna be like Oberdin.
And this is like, I had to do a little bit of digging. I don't know if this is like that well known of a story because the Wikipedia on it is just like a tiny single paragraph long. And I had to
Those are the best.
I had to like go into the sources and find like, I read a chapter of a book from 1928 that has like the account of
I love this.
The story. So I kind of just want to read the whole thing to you, but I don't know if that's boring. But it's very interesting.
Just zhuzh it up. Give it a funny voice or something, Yeah, give it to me. I'll ask questions. We'll make it interesting. It'll be great.
Okay. So, 1875, this is a ship. I guess I'll kind of like, because I can skim it and kind of paraphrase.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I like kind of podcast it up, you know, like make it sound like we're just talking.
Yes. Oh my God. We're like those Reddit story podcasts right now, except it's
exactly
1870s.
Some sort of random one sentence Wikipedia article.
Okay. Left London on April 17th, 1875 for Dunedin, which I don't know if I'm even saying that right. It's New Zealand. So they were going from London to New Zealand. So you can imagine the route. They're going all the way from the northern hemisphere to the southern.
Name of New Zealand? Or is that like a city? Oh, it's a city in New Zealand. Okay. So they're going a long way is the point.
Yes, they're going a long way. They're crossing the equator.
And what month?
They're leaving in April. So
got it.
That is going to be spring in the northern hemisphere, fall in the southern, right? They're going to the southern. So after they cross the equator, then it's getting colder and colder.
It's going to reverse, yeah. Okay, understood.
So they get to the Crozettes, which actually I'm going to look up on a map to see how close they actually were to their destination. And it has to be in the southern hemisphere because they're talking about how it was winter there by then. Where's my map? No, not Crozettes is also a type of square flat pasta.
Oh.
Islands.
That sounds horrible. That just sounds like a chip. A flat square? What is that?
Like not even a ravioli. It's not even, you're not filling it with anything. It's just a little square.
Wow, yeah, look at that. Just a square flat. I mean, some people cut like jagged edges on them to make them look cool, but yeah, those are
okay. Interesting.
Those are just squares.
If you look up where the crozettes are, so obviously to get from London to New Zealand, I guess they had to go all the way the freak around Africa, right? They have to go all the way south around Africa. 1875.
And I don't think they did much circumnavigating South America, right? Because isn't that whole area like one of the hardest, like between the tip of South America and Antarctica is like one of the hardest places to sail? They call it the doldrums, maybe. I think it also would right? That's where the term doldrums comes from, or something like that.
I don't know. I'm not a 1800 sailor, but that also looks like it would be farther than going around Africa to go from England to New Zealand.
All right, let's go to Google Maps. You think so?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing.
We didn't make the Panama Canal yet, though, huh? Man, Panama Canal must have been clutch.
I'm already having to Google 17 things.
Think of how much time that saved.
We haven't even started the story,
If you just think of it in like Minecraft terms.
When did they build that? Or like
whatever, who knows, probably 19, I'm going to guess.
What I'm looking up.
1890 to 1910. That feels like when we would have done that type of shit.
Completed 1914.
Okay, I was in the ballpark. What other have we ever built another canal? So let's stay on topic. So they're going to New Zealand.
They're going to New Zealand. My point was I looked up where the Crozettes islands are, and it's like kind of way south. Like I wouldn't expect them to go this far south. I guess it's kind of on the same line. It's on like the same horizontal line as New Zealand, maybe. So maybe they just went way south and then they were just going to go straight east to get to New Zealand, because it's truly in the middle of nowhere.
That doesn't make any damn sense. Why would they do that?
I don't know, but it's very far from like any.
All right, I'm going to start writing down my questions and we can tackle them at the end.
Okay, sure, great. They get near the Crozettes and they crash on some rocks, and the back of the ship is immediately sinking. There's people drowning. I think, so first of all, there's 88 people on the ship. 38 is crew.
Okay.
The rest is passengers. So what, like 50 passengers?
When you said so what, I thought you were saying like, so what? Passengers, so what? Okay.
No.
The 38 crew is
No, I'm doing math. That's the sound of me doing math.
Got it.
The back of the ship is sinking. There's people drowning. A little less than half of the people kind of like drown immediately. And the captain is screaming, like, it's over, get to the boats, like, whoever can save themselves, whatever.
Every man for himself.
Captain is one of the people that drowns, like, immediately for some reason. I'm not sure why, because it said the back started sinking, and I would imagine he was in the front, but maybe he just valiantly threw himself off. I don't know.
He was like, yeet, we're getting out of here. I don't want to be responsible. Maybe it was intentional, like that German guy who flew the plane into the mountains full of people.
What?
He he was really upset about his life. We can get back to it anyway.
Okay. They're crashing, they're drowning.
Captain screams and then leaps into the water and drowns himself.
Yeah, that's my...
For whatever reason.
My embellishment.
What was his name? Do we know this captain's name?
Captain McDonald. Alex McDonald.
Wow, Captain Alex McDonald. Okay.
And supposedly his actual words that he cried out was, "Goodbye, it's all over. Save yourselves by the boats at once."
Oh. That's not a very captain, like if the Titanic guy did
it's
that.
Like very, he's just giving up.
Nope. Yeah. See ya. Like that's a very affirming, like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
He's just so you guys know, give it your best shot. I'm not going to make it. I can't. Yeah. Maybe you couldn't swim. Who knows?
Okay, so everybody's kind of climbing up to the top and the front of the boat, trying to survive and like hang on to stuff. It's all sinking though, slowly. And they get on some boats. I'm trying to find... I think maybe they got on like 2 different lifeboats or something. The one that they were using the most was something called a gig, which I had to look up, and it's basically like a long canoe. Like it kind of looks like those boats that people use in rowing competitions, I guess. But maybe not as skinny.
I'm kind of surprised that they had lifeboats. I feel like back then, I don't know, it just seems like...
Yeah, they might not have necessarily been lifeboats, but they would have like little boats that they could take out, like if they needed to just go to shore and come back or something, or like pick somebody up.
Man, the invention of plastic, game changer. Because then you can have a lifeboat that you fold into a suitcase. Yeah. And then you just got to blow up, and then you have a whole lifeboat.
That's true.
That's unbelievable. Holy cow.
So wait, what time is it? Okay, it's the middle of the night. It's like early morning. I think it's like 4 a.m. when they crash into these rocks. So it's the middle of the night. It's cold. Some people get on the gig. Oh, they had a gig and a dinghy. And
okay, I've heard of a dinghy.
Safely launched these with some people on them and made for land. I think they were like a little bit of a distance from the land still. And it took them like several trips coming back, and some people just had to wait on the wreckage like overnight because I guess they didn't want to travel in the boats at night for some reason. So they were like, okay, last trip for today. You guys can sleep here and we'll come back in the morning.
Wait. Say that again. They went...
They're going...
I got distracted.
Okay, they crashed on some rocks.
Captain McDonald picture.
Oh, did you find him?
I thought so, but now I'm confused. But just keep going. So they crashed on these rocks, and then they're ferrying people from the rocks to the island.
Yes, because the rocks are like a little bit far from the island, it seems.
And then they were like,
about
it's too scary at night. Too many ghosts and spiders and Cthulhu monsters. And also, I suppose you're quite liable to just hit more rocks when you can't see anything. So
yeah, that might have been part of it. So basically, they don't get everybody onto shore until like the end of the next day because they're like doing all these trips to get people there. And I believe it was something like 44 people survived. So like from 88 to 44.
Okay.
49 initially, but then they start dying off. We'll get to that. They get to the island. There's a lot of rocks. And then I want to kind of skip ahead to... Apparently there was only one woman on the whole ship. This was a ship full of men. There was one woman and her child son.
Like among the survivors or on the ship, period? Or who knows?
I think it said maybe on the whole ship, but the woman and the son were part of the survivor group. Where's she going?
Okay.
To New Zealand, apparently.
Right.
One guy dies of exhaustion day one. He says, I'm out of here. Honestly, that might be me. I think this type of situation would give me so much anxiety. I'd probably just die of a heart attack.
He was just like, that was a lot, you guys. See ya.
Literally.
That was it. That was enough.
Yeah, so she was the only lady on board, Mrs. Wordsworth. And
are you making this up?
No, I'm reading. I told you. This is from
Okay, I'm just checking because this would be a really good bit. And you did start before we started recording. You said I have a bit that I want to do, and then you said, well, it's actually a story. So I'm just curious because Wordsworth sounds like a fake name.
I mean, I think that's just the type of names that people had in the 1800s.
Mrs. Wordsworth. Okay, all right, I believe it.
Okay, so a lot of this then is the account of her son. Because by the time that this account is being written, it's like the 20s. So I think her son maybe was still surviving and gave his like firsthand account of this.
On the island? Well, actually, don't tell me. No spoilers.
But yeah, so they all end up living on the island. So he's talking about his mom was really not doing good. Because she's a lady, everybody is like, all the men are being really nice to her and giving her like extra blankets and stuff because they're chivalrous.
Oh, that's good. Wonderful.
They start building little shelters and they build the woman and her son like they have their own house and everybody else is living in like these like kind of big mess halls with a bunch of other people.
Damn. Queen.
Okay,
She's
so this is the account of the son that I'm just going to read a lot of because there's so many interesting things in this. The food we chiefly lived on was albatross, which is a bird. Another bird we used was we thought it was a mollyhawk, but it turned out to be something called a stink pot. I don't know what any of that means,
they
but
must have learned that after.
Look that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're just killing birds.
They were very large birds with strong beaks. I remember getting a bite from one which hurt through a Wellington boot, trousers, and drawers. We caught these birds by chasing them into rough places where they found it difficult to rise, and we then killed them with clubs.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah.
That's actually, I've learned how, like, just, you know how we were apes and then we became just a little smarter than everyone else? That was like the main way we took advantage of people, is we just like, when we hunted, you would think like a tiger, you just chase it down and you beat it to death with your hands. We actually would usually just like chase stuff into a corner and then just walk towards it with sticks and kill it. Like, you know, like it was always kind of just like recklessly chasing things into a tough spot, and the animals being too stupid to know that this is a bad idea. That's all it takes. It's just like a little intelligence,
or
and
just
then
like,
you can kill albatross after albatross.
Yeah. Isn't the deal with like humans being long distance runners is that we would just chase things until they were too exhausted to keep running?
Yeah, I don't buy that. I keep reading that places that people keep saying, well, you know, humans are maybe not the best sprinters, but they're by far the best endurance runners. We could outrun, and I gotta test this. I need to get an animal or something. Just the idea that if you put me and a tiger in a giant area and said, Austin, you're going to catch the tiger. Given enough time, you will catch it. No, I just don't believe that. There's just no way that tiger wouldn't. I understand the idea that it would sprint and then get tired.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they sprint and then they use up all their energy. And also, I don't know if we were chasing tigers. I'm talking about like cattle.
All right. Cattle, sure. Yeah, they got tiny feet, but people say that humans are tigers? Like better distance runners than any other animal, and it's just confusing to me. So, I want to see a test. Like, I understand the science, but I want to test it.
We need to get you and an antelope and see what happens.
Antelope is that's a way better choice. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's a great choice.
Chasing an antelope across the savannah as a test.
I don't know how would we make it clear that I was a danger to the antelope so that it would run? I'm not sure. But
I feel like that kind of animal,
figure it out.
Any kind of deer just always runs from everything. I think it would run from you.
That's a good point.
You're like worried you would just run right up to it and it wouldn't care.
And it'd be like, yeah. Well, because, you know, they're probably not built the same way they used to be, with an innate fear of bipeds.
I guess it would have to be a non-domesticated one, you know? We couldn't take one from a zoo because they might be used to people.
Before you knew what we're talking about now, if someone came up to you if I came up to you, me, and I said, ma'am, I bet you see that let's say we're camping. Oh, hey, there's a deer over there. If I said to you, I bet you I can catch it. I'll bet you $1,000 I can catch that deer on my feet. You would not take that, or you would take that bet. You go, no way you're going to catch that deer. It's not going to happen.
The thing is, I think I would have to give you like a week. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I guess that's what the question is what is the time scale like when those graphs eventually meet, you know? Are we talking like hours, days?
It was days. I think because people would chase, from what I know,
okay.
They would chase down herds of animals for like
and be
days.
Like camping and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. That maybe starts to make a little, but why would the animals get tired if they're sleeping and stuff, you know? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, they're eating albatross back to the island.
Okay, yes, they're eating birds, sometimes dangerous birds. Where was I? Our favorite vegetable was a sort of moss with long spreading roots, and we were often so hungry that we ate dirt and all. Owing to the season of the year, the nights were very long, 15 hours, which we tried to pass in sleep.
What was the season
it's like,
again?
It's winter now, because now they're in the southern hemisphere, so it's like midwinter. So
midwinter.
Some of the people,
so it's probably cold.
Yeah, some of the people were like dying of hypothermia, I think, in the first few days, especially before they had built any shelters. Because I think I skipped over where they started building shelters, but like first 2 days they had no shelter, and then they started building like lean-tos, and they ended up with like kind of a little village of like 6 big lean-tos, and then the woman's house.
Cool. Good for them.
So he's talking about they're mostly hungry and cold. They're dreaming about food. And I talked about how the men are trying to like take care of the lady. He said something interesting here. He said, even though it was like cold and wet, and a lot of times they're sleeping in the wet because they couldn't get dry, He says, our clothes were seldom quite dry, and we often had to lie down in absolute slush with the rain beating on our faces. But none of us got a cold, owing, I suppose, to the ammonia in the guano-covered soil. So he's saying they didn't get sick because there was ammonia in the soil. I don't know if that actually makes any
soil.
Yeah,
they were sleeping in doo-doo soil and they didn't get sick. They didn't get a cold. Yeah. It probably was just none of them had a cold when they arrived, and you can't just get a cold from being cold and wet, you know? So it's probably just lucky that nobody was carrying anything. But I'm surprised none of them got anything if they're laying in poop soil. Like wet doo-doo soil is crazy.
Doo-doo soil.
Oh, my Lord.
He does say nearly all of us suffered from diarrhea and similar trouble.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah, none of us got a cold. It was weird. We were all just like totally fine.
We were shitting like crazy,
we all had
though.
diarrhea every single day. Like, oh, that's just, people back then they really were just built different. They really were. Like, they just took everything in the face and just said, okay, we're building a village now. Everyone's got diarrhea every day. That's in the Revolutionary War. That was like the same thing.
Yeah.
Like hygiene in war camps. It was just everyone's constantly got headaches and diarrhea, and then also fighting a war.
Yeah.
Just how
I do
terrible.
think about how, like, before modern medicine, like now, if you have like a stomach bug, you go to the doctor, you get antibiotics or whatever, and you're better. Mm-hmm. Little things like that, like little infections and stuff, before modern medicine, like, what, you would just live with that forever, or like until it randomly went away on its own, or you died from it? Like,
well, if it's actually an infection, right, it's one of two things: either it kills you or your immune system fights it. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's probably chronic versions of it, but yeah, in general, every infection, like infections, I suppose, were like, that's why penicillin is such a big deal, right? Because it was like the first time we were able to, you know, infections were the number one threat to the human race. And penicillin was our first real tool to fight against that. So, and washing our hands, I suppose. But so they still might be, honestly.
Yeah. But this next thing is something that I also was like confused about, because I don't drink alcohol, so I don't know if this makes sense, but they are saying that everybody was, first of all, they managed to save some barrels of alcohol, like wine and rum and whatever.
Yeah, right here, this red stuff on the ship.
And they're saying everybody basically was drinking every night as a treatment for the diarrhea. And I'm like, what? Does that...
I can attest from first-hand experience that is not going to have the intended effect.
No.
Most of the time, I would say it has the opposite effect. And in fact, that might explain the diarrhea.
Yeah.
Come to think of it. Now, it is true that like alcohol is an antiseptic, right? So like maybe there's something there. Like we used to drink alcohol, like whiskey, for like you give it to kids if they had sicknesses. I doubt it actually does anything because it inflames your whole body.
Right.
Like it's really bad for you. So my assumption is that.
But they're saying they would even have like certain stashes of the alcohol that they would put away for when people were especially sick. And I'm like, I mean,
I'm sure they thought that it was helping.
Maybe that, you know, it might be making you feel better mentally, but I don't know if that's really helping your diarrhea.
Hey, ChatGPT, can you fact check this diary entry from 1880 and tell me what's real?
Okay. We had no salt and flavored our dishes with gunpowder and seawater.
Seawater makes sense. Salt.
Gunpowder, sure. Though. They're putting gunpowder on their bird meat.
Yeah. I can't explain that. Never had it. But I guess if it worked.
They're making fires with first wood, and then they ran out of wood, and then they were making fires with bird skins. They also, of course, like, since they landed...
Wait, they ran out of wood? I guess it was raining all the time.
Yeah, I guess there wasn't a lot of wood on the island. I wish I could see, like, a picture of the island they're talking about.
Yeah, how do you spell the island? I'm sure surely we can go there or, like, get a picture of it, right? We have pictures everywhere.
I mean, it was just, like, a random abandoned island that it said was part of the Crozettes, like, Crozet, and I'm only seeing one island called, like, Crozet Island. But it might have just been, like, a smaller one. Oh, no, it is, like, a little group of islands. It's truly in the middle of nowhere, though. Like, there's nothing on these islands.
Huh. How interesting is this? Man, anytime anyone tells me a story about anything that happens anywhere, I just want to go to the place that it happened.
Well,
like, I want to go to the Crozettes now.
You're going to want to even more at the end, because there's something I'm really excited to tell you at the end.
Let's just make this podcast a fucking story time podcast.
Honestly, we should. This is fun. Okay.
Stories every week.
Oh, right. Well, so since they landed, they've been putting up signals in various ways. They have like a fire going all the time that they're trying to send smoke up, and they have they used a mast of the ship on the highest point of the island with a blanket on it for like a flag, so that like ships would see them. And apparently, over the course of them being there, which they were living on this island for 6 months, they saw 4 ships pass.
That must be. Oh my God.
One of them within 2 miles. And they were like, there's no way they didn't see us. And it turns out they literally did see them. And the crew was like, hey, there's like signals over there. Like, should we check that out? And the captain was like, nah.
Well, would you? Like, how many times are you like, you're driving down the highway and then like, imagine you come by like a camp of people lighting a fire and waving at you. You're not stopping. Let's check that out. No way.
But as a ship captain, isn't that like part of your duty?
Yeah, definitely. Without a doubt. Like they totally should have.
But that's crazy. So there were, they say they saw 4 ships pass. 2 of them later said that they did see the signals, but they just didn't do anything about it, which is crazy.
They're like, we're busy. That's probably Captain Alex, and nobody liked him anyway. Hence why he drowned himself.
Yeah. Okay, so back to what the sun is saying. We seldom could clean ourselves, the dirt being too fast on to permit of cold water taking it off. Sounds like maybe kind of an excuse, but okay. I guess it was cold. You don't want to wash yourself. However, we had a method of cleaning our faces by rubbing them with the bird skins and then rubbing them with the feathers.
We did have a lot of interesting ways of cleaning ourselves back in the day.
So that was the skincare, was bird skin and bird feathers.
I'm sure they all looked great.
That sends a shiver down my spine.
Well, birds, yeah. You'd resort to some crazy things, I bet.
I guess they're trying to exfoliate, I guess.
Yeah, you're going to want to scrape your face off in some way.
At one time, we were very hard up for food, having only 2 birds left. We were very weak and low-spirited. One day, some of the party went to the other side of the island where we were wrecked, and they saw a number of large mud nests with a great lot of beautiful white birds, mollyhawks. They were so tame that they flocked down at our feet. We killed about 100 and had such a feast.
Cute.
They came right to their feet and they fucking clubbed them. And they took some eggs,
they're going to run out of birds at some point.
Well, I guess they didn't until they were rescued. Okay, so they're waiting and waiting. And I talked about the signals. By December, the number of people on the island was reduced to 44. I think I said there was like 48.
You said 44. Okay, well, so they lost a couple.
Yeah, they lost like a couple people, but
crazy,
the majority of them
got sick,
Yeah, just diarrhea, just daily diarrhea.
Yeah,
that's
just daily diarrhea. Should have been rubbing that on their skin. That explains the guano soil.
Yeah. So they're finally rescued on January 21st by an American whaling ship, and they're all very excited about this and blah, blah, blah. There's all these details about, like, all of them got on that ship, and then they split up in other ships, and they all got home.
Fun.
Before they left, they made graves for everybody. They made crosses for everybody that died. And also buried an account of the wreck and their hardships on the island.
Buried?
Which is why we have to go there, because that's the video game note. They left a video game note on the island about what happened to them. So that's why we have to go, because we have to dig up the account of the wreck.
We got to do some research here. I got to quit my YouTube channel, make a new one for stories like this. Grand. So we don't know which I'm sure we could figure it out. Like surely like some British website or some New Zealand website or like a website for the Crozettes or something in some other language has the island, right? We must know. It's like a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a few.
The Apostle Island. Okay.
There's a few different ships called the Strathmore. It's weird to me, like, this is such an interesting story, but it seems a little bit obscure. Like, it's kind of hard to find more information about it.
That's something I've discovered a lot is like, and this is so obvious, and it makes you sound so, like, chronically online when you say it, but, like, I have this sense that, like, everything is on the internet, and the more you want to learn about anything, you realize there's so much.
Yeah, it's not true. Yeah, there's actually
information.
A lot.
There's even Wikipedia articles, like you said, like there are Wikipedia articles that are like 3 sentences long, like for this, that even there is information on the internet about it, that there's like articles and things written on some random website that just nobody's taken the time to put onto Wikipedia. And it's just such a cool thing. Because then you also got to think like, then what's in the libraries and in somebody's house or buried on an island in the middle of the Atlantic or whatever. Or I guess it'd be the Indian Ocean at that point. So that's just, wild. So there's not that many Crozet Island, which apparently are also called, they have another name of some kind. I feel like I'm going to go down a rabbit hole as soon as this podcast is done, and I'm going to find the coordinates of the island and then figure out how the heck to get there. Because there's 3 possible islands. It looks like each one's roughly like probably 25 square miles. But like imagine going to this island and finding like one of the crosses, which probably isn't there anymore because like islands are always changing. But like, how cool would that be?
There's probably nothing because it's all wood and it's been a long time and stuff.
Yeah. There's not even Google Street View on any of these islands. That's how remote they are.
Exactly.
Dang. This drives me crazy that I can't see these places. One of them looks volcanic. Oh, my Lord. I'm going on a rabbit hole after this. Okay, so then they buried an account, but then most of what you just told me came from the kid of the woman writing about it later.
So I don't think anybody has like dug up that account. He just told us that that they did that. Which is so interesting.
I wonder why they buried it.
Yeah, who were they thinking
what
was
were they doing? What
that?
happened to those 4 people? Maybe there's some fishy business going on. So we sacrificed those 4 every time we saw a ship, because you said they saw 4 ships. We did a ritualistic human sacrifice in order to try and get them to see us, perhaps. Could be something like that.
I don't know. That is interesting,
well, I'm going to spend some time looking into this.
I can't believe somebody actually did that, like left a note where they were stranded. Because that's something that I always like make fun of in video games, because I'm like, why would they leave this here? Why would they have written this? That's a great point. But they actually
did like, what kind of crappy storytelling is this? And it's like, no, that's somebody just said, hey, we're going to put this here. And I guess, like, why? Yeah, why? And nobody is alive anymore. Who would know, you know?
Yeah, they're definitely all dead by now.
But for some reason, we know about this because of that one kid. Stuff like this really does. Like, this is what I live for, this stuff. Thank you so much for bringing this to the pod.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm such a big fan of these kinds of stories.
You know what I actually just noticed?
What?
We seem to have drifted to an island.
Wait, really?
All this time we've been at sea, and I just looked to my left.
Oh my God, it's the Crozettes, or it's a Crozet Island. Look, albatross.
And there's skeletons.
Oh, wait, ma'am. How many skeletons are there?
These are the 4.
There's 4 skeletons on the island.
These are the ghosts of the 4.
This is the island. This is what they've been doing. This is why they buried the notice, because they did some sort of strange spell and turned them into skeletons that look like they're about 8 feet tall, if my own height is
and
any
look,
measurement.
I'm hanging out with them. I'm playing well, it's interesting that their instruments are also made of bone, because what kind of creature was this that made this guitar-looking thing?
I'm seeing like some hips at the bottom, feet at the top. So it's honestly just the legs of a person.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Just upside down.
Maybe they used some of the bones of the people that drowned in the beginning.
That makes sense. Wow, I can't believe we found the island.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
I like that
that's that.
I'm playing with the band and you're just standing there. But I guess that's par for the course for this pod.
That's what we do when we're playing IMVU.
Okay, well, that was my story. Did you have any questions saved up?
Okay, let's see. Well, I mean, I ended up just asking a lot of them during the story, obviously. Because like one of the things that I was thinking about the whole time is I remember there was it's not available, I don't think, in any way anymore, but there was a brief period of time that I was making a video series called More Junk Snacks, where I would get these snack boxes that was sent to me by some company from snacks around the world, and I would eat them while telling some story I discovered from some newspaper clipping that I read on the whatever. And I remember one of the stories I read was about, there used to be this thing that people would do. I'm going to butcher all the details, but they would basically, after we kind of invented ballooning, there were some people who were like, what we should do as like a sport is
you
we
mean
should
like hot air ballooning?
Hot air balloons, yeah. We should tie one of these balloons to a horse and ride it through the sky. No basket. Just tie it directly to the horse, and I'll sit on the horse, and I'm going to just ride it up into the sky.
What?
And so they would do this. This is all real, but there is no Wikipedia on it. This was like 3 newspaper clippings and like some random article I found. And I think 2 of the newspaper clippings were in French, and I had to translate them. But what they would end up doing is basically the sport. It wasn't even really a sport. It was just like a performance, I guess. Someone would get on the horse. The horse was not
and the horse
asked
is just
or
tied to the balloon.
Yeah,
like, what are we
the
talking
horse
about?
isn't doing anything. It doesn't need to be a horse. It could be a basket, and it should have been a basket. So they would tie the balloon directly to the horse. Some guy in a top hat with a mustache would get on it, and it would go up, 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 and it would fly away. And then it would just go high enough until the horse passed out from hypoxia.
Oh my God.
And then they would just sink it back to the ground, and wherever it landed is just where it landed. So people would chase it along and then meet it at the end, and everyone would clap, and they would, I don't know, I guess get drunk or something. And that was the sport. And there was a bunch of funny stories about, like, this one time they did it and the horse was like, they didn't get high enough and the horse was freaking out and like kicking people's shingles off their houses and stuff as it floated through the city, whatever.
Wait, so it's not even that? I was imagining like way up in the sky.
No, some of them would go way up in the sky, but there were times where like the horses wouldn't cooperate and it would like wriggle too much and the balloon wouldn't inflate enough or whatever.
Well, of course.
And so, yeah,
the horse is terrified. Oh my God.
Yeah, a horse is not meant for that. Speaking of animals being too dumb to understand what's going on, that's a crazy thing to do to a horse. So, but it's crazy because if you Google, like if I Google right now, horse hot air balloon 1800s sport, I don't know, what would you call it? France, I think it was in. I can't. Well, you know what's funny is ironically, the AI summary. No, the AI summary pulled up something about 18th century horse-mounted balloons, and it does. Well, actually, here links to this did not. I guarantee you, this did not exist when
I believe you.
Made this video because I would have stumbled across this. Oh yeah, there's like a whole guy who has an article now. I'm going to look at the history of this article, and it turns out that it's existed the whole time. But Pierre Testu-Brissy was a French balloonist who achieved fame for making flights on his horse. Though it looks like this guy put his horse in a giant basket and then lifted the basket up. Again,
it is pretty hard to find. I am finding a picture of a horse on a platform that is carried by a balloon.
This was not, I explicitly remember them saying like, oh yeah, what we would do in like one of the articles is you would go up until the horse passed out and then come back down. Obviously, who knows if any of this is true because like it's impossible to corroborate, but
that is wild and like horrible for the horses. I feel so bad for the horses. I'm hoping this is something that only happened like a few times as a crazy novelty thing.
I don't think it was super common.
The horse also, freaking out and kicking shingles off of roofs is really funny, though. I didn't realize they were like that low.
Yeah, this is not. This is different.
Okay.
Because this is like just a guy who brought his horse into the sky. But there was like it wouldn't be right to call it a sport. I'll maybe I'll do more research, or I should just go rewatch my video. I'm sure I can find it in like unlisted somewhere. But anyway, the point is like there's so many things that every day things are happening around the world that are not going to be recorded, and finding these little nuggets of like not the craziest stories you've ever heard, but just like crazy normal stories. I love them so much. Not that getting stranded's not crazy, right? But we only hear about the things that are like the most insane story ever that has like carried forward because of how insane it is.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like this really interesting microcosm like shipwreck event that happened. And I think that stuff's just so cool. I think it's just so cool.
It is very cool. It was very fun to read through this story, and it's just cool that like the son of this lady had so much to say and remembered so much.
Do you think the son of that person is still alive? Because how old was this person in 1920, you think? Probably not
sure.
Actually.
Let me see.
Yeah, you're getting into like grandkids or great grandkids at that point.
So Mrs. Wordsworth was the lady, and it doesn't say her
Imagine if
son.
your grandpa was on a shipwreck, you would never hear the end of it. Anytime you complain about anything, yeah. He'd be like, well, kid, at least you didn't have to sleep in guano, and I didn't even get sick. Just diarrheaing everywhere. Okay, grandpa, okay. Crazy.
You complain about diarrhea. He's like, try having diarrhea for 6 months.
Exactly.
And your only treatment is rum.
And it helped. It would have been worse without it. I remember.
Was
go ahead.
Charles Francis Wordsworth, and I think. Okay, it says at the time that this was written, which was 1928. He is living in Auckland.
Okay.
So we would have to look into like Charles Wordsworth in Auckland and see if he has any descendants.
And you know what's crazy is like, in order to uncover everything about this story that exists in the human like knowledge base of everyone's minds on Earth and stuff, you would have to dedicate your life to just this. And there are people who do that for like very specific things. Mm-hmm. But like, imagine if I tasked you and I said, I want to know everything there is to know about this event. I want you to find anyone who knows about it, anyone who's alive or who's related to people who are in it, find the whatever. You're talking years or decades to uncover this information. And so I guess it's no wonder that people don't do it, because it is obviously a lot of work, but I think it's awesome. Oh, it's really cool.
Wait, is this him?
No way. A picture?
Now, I'm like really going down a rabbit hole now. I just searched for his name, Charles Francis Wordsworth, and it said, and I found it's on findagrave.com. And it said,
shot. You're going to find his grave?
Well, it said born 1852, which would, I mean, maybe he wasn't a kid. It
depends how young he was. Yeah.
Because he would have been 20 something.
But if he remembered the event well enough to write about it, he probably was like older. But I guess then he probably would be on a ship working at that age. Like he wouldn't be going with his mom, to New Zealand.
Oh, wait. But it does say he was born in Scotland, died in New Zealand. It would have been soon after this happened then, because he died in 1896. Well, maybe that's not him then, because they said he was still alive in the 20s when this was written.
We're going to sick the horde on him, all 10,000 of our listeners. Have you noticed that?
But that's too many coincidences that he born in Scotland, died in New Zealand.
That is a lot.
Crazy.
Unless maybe that's just like a thing everyone was doing in the 1800s, is going from like the UK to New Zealand. Maybe New Zealand was like the cool place to be.
Okay, no, I think this is him. And maybe he wasn't actually alive when this was written. Because I don't know, maybe this is older or something, or they found something that he wrote.
Please, ma'am, I need you to listen to me.
Yeah.
I can't do it because I'm too. I sold out. Okay, so I can't do stuff like this. Please make a YouTube video about this. I want an hour long.
That'd be the most
YouTube
random
video.
thing for my channel.
I need you to do it. Okay,
I could do an intermission. This could be an intermission.
Okay, all right. At least I'll take an intermission in between in a gaming YouTube video.
No, but I do. This is definitely him. It says he was a survivor of the. What was it called?
Where's his grave? In New Zealand. So his
grave is, in New Zealand.
Can you does it tell you the address?
Yeah.
So we could go and look. At the grave of the kid.
I am actually gonna, because I do want to go to New Zealand at some point. I'm gonna add this to my saved places on Google Maps, so if I ever go to New Zealand, I can go here and see it.
Okay, because I was gonna say we could just say the address out loud. I'm sure we have someone who's listening from New Zealand. who could go take a picture of it.
Ooh,
right?
That would be cool. It's in Manaia Cemetery, Manaia.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And it says it's plot 2224.
Okay.
Charles Francis Wordsworth.
It's in Taranaki. Oh, it's a military cemetery, so it might be a little tricky to get there, according to Google anyway. But
that would be crazy,
it's just like a cute, tiny little cemetery in the middle of freaking nowhere. It's actually right near a giant, awesome-looking volcano, so it's on the northern island. Wow. Please, somebody. I'm sure that, like, nobody... What's the closest city? Let's see. Directions to Auckland. That's probably where somebody listening lives. So it's a 6.5-hour drive from Auckland. So get in the car, bring a friend. You're going down to Manaia, and that you can even see the Taranaki Country Music Hall of Fame while you're there. You can eat at Yarrow's, which is a little bakery there, and there's about 80 people who live there. So
it's so cool to find out about stuff like this, though, because think how many people, when you just go to a cemetery, think how many of those graves are people with insane life stories, and you just don't even know.
Seriously, I think about it all the time, and you're just like, what? And then like some of these people are like not even like, you know, you get not killed, or you die or whatever, or you get killed. It could happen. And you go to a cemetery and you're buried and whatever. And then like your kids visit you, and then like your grandkids maybe. But like once your kids are dead, maybe some of your grandkids visit you. But like once they're dead, there's people who are buried who there's nobody who cares about them anymore.
Yeah.
How wild is that?
It is crazy. The circle of life.
I know. The circle of life, truly. You just never know where you're going to end up. Oh, wow. Man, how cool is that? I'm jazzed. You got me all jazzed up. I'm just like staring at this little Google picture of this cemetery, like the blurry satellite picture, and I'm just obsessed, truly.
I do really want to go to New Zealand at some point. I want to go everywhere. New Zealand, Australia.
Oh my God, they've got street view at the cemetery.
Oh.
Some of these graves look pretty new. Some of them look old, though. All right, so we can see into the cemetery a little bit.
I wonder what got him buried down here.
Yeah, who knows?
I guess maybe he ended up living there.
Hey, do you want to see a picture? This is the picture that when I saw this picture, I was like, I have to know what that's from. This is the picture that sent me down my horse balloon rabbit hole.
Oh. Whoa. Yeah, it's just a horse hanging from a balloon.
Dead ass. And I told you, there's a guy waving, and he's like, they're just taking off. And so I started Googling the words that are on the bottom there. Ascent of M. Poitevin. And so I Googled that person and kind of went from there. And that's how I figured it out. But isn't that crazy? Like, they're just, up we go. The horse already looks passed out in the little drawing here.
I'm sure the horse freaks out and passes out immediately. Horses are like some of the most scared animals that exist. And you're hoisting it into the sky.
You seem like you've ridden a horse. Have you ridden a horse?
One time when I was a kid, I was terrified.
More or less scared than the horse?
I mean, more. The horse was pretty chill. Okay. It was used to having people ride it. But I have some family. Oh gosh, I always like forget what to call people in my family. Like
you mean like their names?
This girl that I always just called my cousin, but she's not like technically my cousin because of the way it works out.
Oh yeah, okay. We all have people like that.
Anyway, like her family I think still has like a house out in the country that's like a bed and breakfast, and they have horses and you can ride the horses and whatever. So at some point when I was a kid, maybe like it was sometime in elementary school, we went out there and I rode a horse for the first time. And it was like the most tame thing ever because I'm just sitting on the horse and somebody's leading it along at a slow pace.
But you did not enjoy it.
But I mean, and especially when you're small, a horse is a huge animal and it's like all muscle. And I was very aware of the fact that they can like kick you in the face and kill you instantly. So
they are like insanely muscly and scary if you think about it.
I was very like tense and freaked out the whole time. My sister had a worse time though. She was younger than me because she's a year and a half younger. So I wish I could remember exactly what age I was, but so she's like pretty young, like maybe like 7 years old or something. And she was a little bit braver, so she was like okay with not having somebody have the horse on a lead the whole time and like her actually doing the reins. She wanted to try that. And the horses, I guess, like this horse really likes this one like hill that we came up to and always likes to run down the hill. And so we get to this hill and the horse just like sprints down the hill. And my sister is like, God. My sister is bouncing up like 2 feet off the saddle as this horse is running. And her helmet is a little too big for her. Her helmet's like falling over her eyes and she's just like bouncing around like crazy. And she stayed on and survived.
Good for her. That's scary. That's how Christopher Reeve got all messed up. You got to be careful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he fell off Superman. The actor fell off a horse. He got kicked by the horse and then he was paralyzed for the rest of his life. Scary business.
Horses are scary, dude.
They are. I don't know if you're interested or if you're over it, but I think I found the island, the exact island, based on the...
What do you mean? How?
I did. I mean, unfortunately for you, I used the AI, but it led me to the Wikipedia article for this island, so I'll send you this Wikipedia article. And it is listed here. I don't know how to pronounce that, but the Ilots des Apatres, whatever. And it is part of the Crozettes, but like a little bit to the side. And there are two islands in this little section here. I can even send you the Google.
Oh yeah, and then it says
Google Maps
that this
link.
Is the one.
Yeah, and so it just
Strathmore.
links on that random thing. If you click that, it should take you right there. It has a 4 out of 5 stars, which is hilarious. I don't know why, but then you can zoom in and you can see the terrain they'd be working with, and indeed, there really aren't any trees. And it looks like the island's been like seriously eroded. Like you can't see any real easy ways to get up onto it anymore. So my guess would be that wherever they buried the crosses and stuff probably is inaccessible at this point. But you can kind of get a sense of the terrain they were working with. And it's honestly like scary to imagine being, just in the middle of on that island. I'm not even sure how you would get there, frankly.
I wonder where they were specifically on here.
Yeah, like which side of the island, right? Because it looks like it's only about, according to the little legend down there, it's about 1,000 feet wide and maybe like 3,000 feet long. It's not a long island. Mm-hmm. So then you got to wonder, like, where were those birds that they got, and so on and so forth. Crazy. We should try to, we would got to charter a boat, I guess, or something.
I mean, I think it might be a little bit out of our league.
That'd be the only way to get there. You'd have to hire a person. Well, you just got to just find someone. Like, surely someone could get you to the French southern Antarctic lands, right? It looks like there's some sort of little port there on that little island to the east, and then you find someone there who can then take a little boat trip about 300 miles.
Just to make a YouTube video.
It would be pretty sick. It'd be pretty sick. Here's what you'd actually have to do is you have to find some like nerd group who's really interested in this wreck and offer to like split fund with like the National Science Foundation their trek to the island.
Yeah, I mean,
so then it becomes a PBS documentary.
Or this is the kind of thing that somebody does like a PhD thesis on because they just want to have a reason to expend resources to go there.
That's what I would do. It's like 100% if I could have my life just be deeply exploring.
If any
of
our audience is like looking for a PhD thesis and you're like a historian, do this and go there and bring us.
You can have it and please bring us. We'll help get you there if we can.
But legitimately, I've saved that guy's grave, so if I ever go to New Zealand, I will be like making a road trip over there because that's so cool.
That's the best way to travel. I mean, you kind of talked about that, and traveling to Japan is like, it's kind of just the best way to do it is to kind of, I don't know if you'd say mosey around, but whatever it is, like find these little places that are just kind of there.
The way that I travel most of the time, I guess once in a while I'll look up a travel guide because sometimes other people are smarter than you and just know where to go. But it can be so fun to literally open Google Maps and just click on stuff until you find something interesting and then just decide to go there. And then you end up seeing all kinds of crazy stuff along the way too that you didn't even expect.
You ever think about doing that where you live? Because I sometimes kind of have, but I often like ask myself, like, I feel like if I didn't live here, I would explore it more visiting than I do living here, to some extent. And then I'm like, damn, I should really be.
Yeah, we should be exploring more. Like just right around where we live. There's this website I love, I think called Roadside America.
Yes, love that website.
Where you can just look up any place and it's all like specifically the weird kind of shit that I love to see. Like,
yeah,
it's like weird stuff on the side of the road, weird museums.
And it's like that type of stuff is even interesting because like if nobody puts it on that website, it's not there.
Yeah.
And there's just so much, I don't know. It's just like there's endless wonder in every city, maybe not every city block, but every, let's say, square mile in whatever city you're in that you can really explore. Like I went for another run inspired by myself, I guess it was, but we talked about exercising and running and stuff.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across this like archway that said something conservatory. It was in New Orleans. It was just like this stone archway. And behind the archway was just a golf course. And I was like, well, this archway looks really old. And this is not a conservatory, it's a golf course. And then I just sat down and did a bunch of like 30 minutes of just researching what was this archway and what was behind it, and discovered a whole bunch of fun stuff about it.
It was just like left over from something that used to be there?
Yeah, they knocked down this giant, it's this whole thing. They knocked down this big conservatory and this giant garden that had been abandoned for a long time.
For the audience only, what is a conservatory exactly?
I mean, I thought it was a place where you learn to play the violin, but apparently it's also the name of like a greenhouse for the audience.
Okay.
Just in case. Obviously. Apparently it's a greenhouse.
A greenhouse.
Or just like a big, like curated garden, kind of like that place near the Indianapolis Museum of Art that we went.
Yes.
Like that kind of vibe, but it also had a greenhouse. And it was just off of Magazine Street going through Audubon Park in New Orleans. So if anyone wants to go see that arch, you can. And now behind it is just a big, stupid, ugly golf course. That's just the way the cookie crumbles,
Ew.
I guess.
Golf courses are ugly, aren't they?
And there's such a... Like, I understand it's complicated in some sense because the parks don't have... If they don't have funding, somebody has to own it. And so the option is you get... If someone comes in and goes, hey, I'll pay to keep 30% of this as a park if I can use the other 70% as a golf course. And then your other option is... we let it go into disarray and we sell it to developers. And so I get how it happens. I just think it sucks to use that much land for that few people. Like, even if golf is fun, which I'm sure it is.
That's what's crazy about it, is it's like so huge.
Yeah, it's like so much parkland.
So much space for...
And if you try and walk on it, they go 4 and they start hitting golf balls at you.
They do that.
It's horrible. But oh well.
And it's just, it's so much uglier than a regular park with like nice plants in it because it's all this like grass that looks like carpet.
Yeah, there was a while, there was a golf course up in, do you remember, did we go to City Park when you were in New Orleans?
Don't know.
I don't know. There's this big giant park, and there was a while there they'd put a golf course in, but there was a second golf course in this giant park because it's huge. That got abandoned for a while, and so it was like this overgrown abandoned golf course you could walk on, and that was actually pretty cool. It felt very secluded, but now it's just a regular golf course again. But, learn your history of your local area, start a blog, a tiny little website dedicated to all the stories you find, and start posting them so we can read them. That's what your hobby should be. Get off Twitter, get off TikTok, like Mem said. Start chronicling your neighborhood.
That's actually an incredible point that, like, part of the reason I got so into reading about this shipwreck story is because I don't do shit on my phone anymore. I'm not scrolling on my phone anymore. And how much more interesting was this than me seeing 50 TikToks?
If you would have just come here and said, hey, did you see that TikTok? I'd be like, oh, what a horrible podcast.
Which I have.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, we got this great story that no one's ever heard before, and it might kickstart a whole new PhD, and then in the future, somebody may know more about this.
You know what?
And we may even get a picture of the grave.
Some of the TikToks I've shown you have been very valuable, okay?
No, they've all been amazing. There's not been one that you sent me that wasn't incredible, especially the ones...
only chopped up vegetables
that
as his food.
That has stayed with me,
I know.
unironically. That has like inspired and stayed with me. ever since you sent it to me.
No, I frequently like make a meal and just think to myself, this is my food.
This is my food. My food is me. We still say that before we sit down and eat. It's like almost a little prayer. I would say probably once a week. We sit down after we make food and we go, this is our food. Our food is us. Now we can eat. Because it's just such a nice thing to say.
That actually is kind of like meaningful when you say it that way.
Isn't it? No. Yeah. This isn't ironic. I'm being dead serious. It really resonated with me. And it was hilarious also, in addition to being resonant. So for those that don't remember, what was that? Do you want to describe it for people, or are we just, it's an inside joke, you get it or you don't?
He had several viral TikToks, but I do take credit for finding the first one before it went viral. Like when I found it, it had less than 1,000 likes, of this guy that just like eats the same thing every day because he just doesn't want to think about what he's eating, which is a sentiment that you have agreed with in the past. But he just, he chops up meat and vegetables, and like I think there was quinoa involved for a grain or something. No seasoning. It's just chopped up ingredients that he mixes up and puts in Tupperware and eats for every meal.
Yeah, in a massive
And he says, this is my food. He just calls it his food.
Yeah, he goes, this is my food. My food is me. That's what he says. And then sometimes he has funny little ones where he'll like be eating a thing from a cheeseburger from a thing, and he goes, sometimes he goes, this is not my food. This is not my food, but sometimes I like to eat it anyway. So he's a real guy, but also a crazy guy.
Yeah, once in a while. I mean, and I guess that's part of what's crazy about it to me, is that if he only ate his food ever, then you would kind of forget what good food tastes like, so maybe it wouldn't be that bad. But he is like in between. He's having cheat days where he eats like a delicious meal from a fast food restaurant. And so I'm like, how do you go back to your food after that?
It's the height of discipline. The man is just totally locked in. I mean, that's kind of what he phrases it like, is he's basically like, listen, because he says he likes to eat food. I'm like really defending this guy. Like I'm following him to the ends of the earth here. But the point being admirable. Like, there's things he wants to do with his life. He loves eating food, but there's things he wants to do more than eat good food. He wants to be productive in some way. He likes to take care of his body. He likes to go to the gym. And in terms of allocating his time, this is just what he saw as like, this is what I need. And he identifies with it. This is his food. His food is him. He's respectful of it. It's healthy. And he eats it. And that's all you need. Honestly, I gotta go watch it right now. Oh, I deleted TikTok. I can't. Oh, well. I'll have to find it some other way.
Yeah, try to find a YouTube compilation or something.
What a guy, I'll tell you what. Well, that's nice. I didn't have to have any topics for this pod. We got to ride
I do have
high
more
of research.
I have more to talk about, but we'll have to do it next time.
Are you allowed to, can we talk more? Or is it like then Ethan will get mad because he only gets paid whatever. He gets paid $6 and a few beans or whatever you pay him.
Let's not go on too long, just so he doesn't have to do too much. But
Ethan will give you $7 if you...
I'll give him a few more beans. Every time we go over an hour, I give him a few more beans.
Yeah, this makes sense. It's like his tip. And they're dry too. They're not even cooked beans. They're like the types of beans where you drop them in a jar and they clink around. So he's saving up. Okay, well, it's
dry beans.
I feel like there was one thing I did want to make sure I brought up, but maybe. Oh, I just wanted to check in and see if you were still burning the not ab oil. What am I trying to say? Are you still working out?
I am, and I actually.
How's it going?
I've been trying to do it most days of the week. I'm not really succeeding that much. That's okay. More impressive.
Some days is better than no days.
I didn't do it yesterday because I was really, really tired, and I might still do it today. We'll see. I might have like
see what happens.
A night gym session today because I've had a lot to do, but I'm doing it.
Sometimes that's fun.
I'm keeping it up. I'm not trying to like get buff or like anything specific like that. I'm just trying to like be healthy because I turned 30 and now I'm scared of my mortality and I want to be strong.
Oh, that is what I wanted to bring up. Is I was going to ask you, like, how are we supposed to die? How are we supposed to be fine with that? I really don't get it. I was thinking about that a lot this week for some reason. I was just like, this is crazy.
What a great uplifting end to this episode as we can talk about death anxiety.
Well, listen, all those people on that boat died and they didn't complain once.
But so... I have to say, I don't know if it's I hope it's something that I get over that this is like a temporary thing, but I've solved a lot of problems in my life and like gotten a lot better mentally in a lot of ways. But something that I have had lately is every night when I go to sleep, I think about the fact that I'm going to die and I freak out about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think we all assume that at some point you get over it. But I just don't think we do. I think the only way you get over it is if your life gets so bad that you're just like, I'm done. But unless barring that, I don't think we ever like fine with it.
Which is, and
but, I guess we'll find out.
The way that I flip it around in my head is like just strive against the dying of the light, man. That's all you can do. Is like, make the most of your time.
Exactly.
Not necessarily try to get rid of the fear, because that never works anyway, but just like use it as fuel to make your days good. And the thing is, like, when the sun is out and it's daytime, I'm like more okay with it, because I'm like,
that's really all it takes.
I'm having a good time. Yeah. I've done a lot of cool things in my life. I feel more like at peace with the idea. And then it really is like when the sun goes down when I'm trying to sleep. That's the problem.
Sometimes it just hits you. But, I mean, it's important to remember that, like, obviously we did not evolve to understand it, but we are kind of smart enough to sort of understand. So we are sort of like, where this torturous existence we have is kind of like the growing pains of possibly the first moments that this is like that corny Carl Sagan thing, but this is possibly the first, this is the first moments, the first thing that the universe is trying to start understanding itself is us. Yeah. And so of course that would be growing pains. That would be really painful. And this is kind of what we're sacrificing our lives for, is the opportunity for the universe to start knowing itself. And so it makes sense that it'd be confusing and that we would never come to terms with it, and that it would be existentially terrifying every moment that you have to think about it. But this is just our lot in life. At least we're not dying on a ship eating gunpowder